DAZN.com. Take over. Last mission. Final boss mode.
But just to transition into the DAZN topic, this pretty much I think last week, I think tweets and stuff went out that DAZN is in need of financial rescue. I guess the issue is, COVID-19 hit, and obviously it's impacted a lot of shit, especially in boxing. Where before we were used to getting fights every other week or so. Some cards, with little drops here and there, whereas we've gotten no type of fights in, was it 2 months? Is it 2 months now? But I think, the last card we got was a Showtime Showbox card with nobody there except for the fighters and their entourage. So it's just like it's been a trying 2 months that we don't have no boxing, none of that shit out there for us.
Yeah.
So obviously it hits DAZN because DAZN is different, because DAZN has had a deal where they've had to, where basically they are trying to secure some financing to stay in the business, basically to find a buyer. Now, we've always heard things about DAZN because DAZN started in 2018. They've always been trying to find a way to increase their subscriber base, to bring in the cash flow to try to get out of the red. That's the thing, because they're a startup business. The whole thing was like they're going to be the Netflix for sports. It's not just boxing, MMA, and some.
They did a lot of DAZN did a lot of good things, but they had some mishaps too. Like,
yeah.
Like the World Boxing Super Series fueled a lot of the good matchups and momentum they had, but outside of that, it was maybe hit or miss sometimes.
Yeah, like I said, on the business side, obviously they try to buy. DAZN is different for every country in terms of what they can actually see. In America, yes, they got boxing, they got the MMA, they got Bellator and stuff like that. But after that, they got MLB for certain things, and not full game stuff like. And then and they have soccer, of course. They got a whole bunch of soccer and that shit. And then you got some wild shit that I don't even like to watch, like cricket and pool. You know what I'm saying? It's weird, but it's content you need, because to have something like that, you got to build content up. And then one thing they have also been doing is trying to get their fight library up to par. Like, they've been adding all types of old fights, especially some from like the HBO library. So they've been trying their best to at least get people to actually get into it. Like, okay, you get this big library. Oh, okay, I might keep the DAZN membership for more than the month they've been doing. And that's one of the positives. And then, like I said, and then the other positives too is, if you got the DAZN plan during their grandfather plan, and basically you kept the $9.99 like myself, you basically got more bang for your buck, especially from last year where they aired some great shit and it didn't cost you $80 fucking dollars or some shit like that. So it's nice. And then obviously, there are some negatives, I know the biggest negative, I personally have never experienced this, but I know people say, oh, it's like choppy. They've had choppy feeds sometimes, or some freeze.
Yes, on the bigger cards, like the Anthony Joshua Ruiz fights. Sometimes the Canelo fight, the stream will be on some bullshit.
Yeah,
like,
and
they the zone has to really step up their engineer game if you're gonna be doing that shit. Y'all can't be having all these millions of dollars circulating in these damn boxers' bank accounts and wallets, and the platform is faulty at its pinnacle.
Right. And also too, like between that and also the presentation, I'm definitely not a fan of its presentation, especially for boxing. Well, except for the World Boxing Series. What about the Super Series?
That's the best thing about the Zone's boxing is the World Boxing Super Series. Everything about it, like
Yeah.
the damn presentation, the fucking epic ass music soundtrack that plays. You know, the way they got the stage, the trophy is larger than life. It's dope as fuck. Like I feel like Matchroom and the Zone, they took too long to get certain fights going, man. Like
Right.
a lot of, and they had a lot of marquee names, and it's just we not getting the fights that we want to get. Like Billy Joe Saunders and Callum Smith both should have been in a some type of marquee fight by now. Danny Jacobs should have.
Yeah, Andre should have been in the marquee fight.
Andre definitely should have been, you know, in one of those fights was the Saunders fight.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the one good thing that I will say about DAZN with the fighters is at least they've been keeping them busy. But that's really
it gets to a point where Busy's cool, but then what else? Like Busy was cool. It took too long for a Tevin Farmer Jojo Diaz fight to happen. We had to see Tevin Farmer fight like six career mode fights before we seen him go up the ladder.
Yeah. Evan wanted to maximize his deal. He wanted to make sure that he got everything out of that deal before he.
And then now, and look where his career at.
Damn.
You see what I'm saying? And I now say this because I picked JoJo Diaz.
I mean, I think there should be a healthy medium, but I mean,
I feel that way too.
I
five times a year. Damn, two of those fights need to be marquee fights.
I mean, I got it with Tevin, but like, I didn't have a problem with their approach because Tevin needed to be built up, and the best way to build him up before you get to the big fights is to have as many stay busy fights as he can to get his name out there, and then eventually give. The issue to me became sour when the whole thing with Tank fell out, and then after that, it's just like it was all downhill from there to me. At that point, it's like, okay, well, how many cans can he fight in a row? So
yeah, because the whole potential Tank fight put a magnifying glass on his career trajectory and what he was doing. So, you know, if the whole Tank situation didn't happen, a lot of people would have just been like, career mode. But soon as the Tank situation popped up, you're looking at Tevin Farmer shit a little more closely, and you're like, okay, yeah, he's overdue for a big, meaningful fight.
And then even the JoJo Diaz fight took forever and a day to make. Like,
that did.
It shouldn't be that hard to make a JoJo Diaz fight.
Right. And these are the things that they'd have to fix. And because as of right now, like the owner, the billionaire owner Len Blavatnik is trying to get ways to raise money to keep the zone floating. Because obviously there's no live sports, and then he's also not paying anything to the sports league because there's no live action. So it's between that, it's having subscribers pause their monthly payments or cancel their membership, and it's a lot. And you don't want to see the zone go away. The zone established itself boxing.
It's good for the sport, but it could be so much more. It's the Broner of boxing, really. Like, you got the talent, potential, but you look at it and you be like, damn, why can't the commentary team be better?
Right.
Damn, why can't they have these bigger fights?
Right. Yeah.
Damn, why they having these long ass marathon undercards that no one wants to see?
Actually, that's one of the things I actually. Top Rank does
sometimes.
Top Rank does it too. I think. They do. They do on ESPN Plus before their main card. A
lot of times they be some mismatch of boring. Like Golden Boy knows. I don't know, some reason when Golden Boy does these little undercards, they match up their fighters. It's like you get more exciting bouts.
That's true.
That is true. That's probably the one thing I will give Golden Boy credit for.
Then you could watch a regular Golden Boy card, and you'll at the end of the night you be like you'll at least see one upset, one crazy knockout, and you'll see at least one good ass fade,
which is funny because really out of all of them, they have the least name power.
Yeah,
that just shows you it's all about the matchmaking.
Yeah, but honestly, in a way that actually helps them because when you don't have the name power, or when your name power is just top heavy, then you have to find ways to be more creative.
Yeah,
It's more entertaining, and if everybody gets the feeling where, oh shit, like when Golden Boy cars are mentioned, how we're mentioning it now, like, well, shit, I don't know who fighting, but it's Golden Boy. You know, niggas is gonna be fading.
Right.
You know they're gonna be scrapping. That's all that needs to be said. That's the best way to promote boxing, where you don't care who it is you know it's gonna be a good fight. Because once you get people with a good fight, then you can tell them anybody fighting in.
Yeah, and this is where Matchroom doesn't have this in America. In England, that may be there. You know,
Matchroom doesn't have the cachet in America to make that work. Let's just keep it real.
Yeah,
they got the fighters too, bro. Like they keep. It's like
I feel like their fighters don't have the cachet over here that they do in fucking the overseas.
They make it doesn't matter what the fights just need to be happening. It doesn't have to necessarily happen in America. I wouldn't care if Callum Smith fought somebody over here or over there.
No, and I mean,
fight somebody good.
That was just the one thing that I said from the beginning. I felt like one of the things that I didn't see it working as well as Eddie Hearn wanted it to, especially because he was hyping it up so much, is they don't have the credibility.
Yeah,
people see how they match up their own guys. Like we see how long it's taking Callum Smith and Saunders to get into a meaningful fight. So you mean to tell me Jacobs was going to get into a meaningful fight?
Yeah, because that's basically what they do in fucking overseas, where guys like Kell Brook is having trilogies with fucking cans down the street. Yeah. Bruh, you knew that shit was going to translate here.
Yeah.
Right, but the one thing though about the zone having these issues right now is it brings out the others it's like the detractors. Now the zone, a lot of people, especially within like if you're in the boxing community or whatever, there's a certain segment that despises the zone to the point, and not simply because it's not because of the matches or anything like that. It's because they associate it with Eddie Hearn of all people. It's to the point where I think some of these people think that Eddie Hearn actually runs the zone.
No, he doesn't run the zone, but he's the face. I mean, he's the name that people like at the forefront that people think of, and him being he just comes off as a sleazy used car salesman.
Well, I mean, I've actually been around this guy before, so I can't.
A charismatic sleazy used car.
I've been around him before. He's an interesting guy. I will say.
I mean, when I went to like the weigh-ins and stuff like that and the workouts, he was there talking to people. I could see he's charming. I will say that. And pause, but he does know how to talk his way out of any situation. I will say that. I give him credit for that.
Yeah. I mean, dude talks. He talks a mile a minute. That's his thing. He says anything. But I mean, the thing about people being happy about the zone is, obviously, I'll flat out say, it's mostly people who are PBC fans or whatever, PBC supporters that are like, oh, the zone's having trouble. You see, I told you it wouldn't work, and then they're happy to like, well, need to close all that shit down. And I'm like, are you guys boxing fans or you guys?
See, that never made sense to me because. This zone's not even like a real. I don't want to say not a real threat for PBC, but like they're both of them can thrive independently. There's no threat in between one another. Like PBC isn't going to get worse because the zone is uprising.
Right, exactly. Like I can't imagine people happy about seeing less boxing. Like I said, the zone. It wasn't like the zone was not putting out any quality boxing last year. They put out plenty of quality boxing.
Even the fights that were non-World Boxing Super Series, they still had quality matchups. But when you look at everything they have, you still expect more. Even after a Ramirez Hooker fight, you still expect more.
From what I've one of the things that I've noticed, just my 2 cents, from what I've noticed is. From talking to people, in person, and I do talk to a lot of casuals that they casually follow boxing. Zone for me, I felt like was the least popular amongst the casuals. They hated the zone, and I feel like a lot of it was the presentation, and just it was hard. It wasn't as easy to be. It wasn't as easily accessible. Those were the complaints that I got from the casual.
Well, it's not easily accessible because you have to pay for it. That's pretty much what it is. You have to pay for it.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, yeah, you do have to pay for it, but like, yeah, that is kind of it.
Yeah, if you're not paying, like if you're out there, getting the illegal streams and watching the shit, then you can't be saying a motherfucking thing. If you're out here, if you actually have a fucking membership and you're paying for it, then okay.
But if you have the membership from a friend, and and it's lagging
if
you have the right to complain too. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, if you're logging in, obviously you have a legit login. Then yeah, you get to talk about quality. But if you're out here going on certain sites, certain stream sites, illegal sites, and streaming it and complaining, then you have nothing to fucking talk about.
Yeah, but when certain illegal stream sites have better quality than the
actual damn app. That's what I'm saying. Like,
then it's a fucking problem. Because honestly, that's happened for me a bunch of times where the zone will be struggling, and I'm like, God damn, like, come on, man. I ain't missing this Canelo fight.
And I gave them.
I go to another stream, and I'm like, oh wow, this damn Russian thing.
And I gave them a pass when they first started. I'm like, let them work out the kinks, work out the bugs. It wasn't until I'll tell you, the day that I soured on them was the Canelo Jacobs fight. The connection was horrible. Motherfuckers is getting booted off of their damn DAZN app.
It made
this is months into
fight even more underwhelming.
Yes, like by that point, you should have your stuff together.
It's been like a whole year, then.
Damn near a whole year.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. Like, if we didn't hear about these big, humongous, paychecks they offering these dudes and these offers, I wouldn't be sounding like that. But when we're getting hundreds of millions of dollars floating around and heard in these offers, I'm thinking that y'all engineers set up, y'all streaming quality is like A1. It like do y'all need to go to school with Netflix or something or Hulu? Like,
I mean, I'm not gonna be in anybody's pockets, but I wasn't really a fan of them. I knew that things weren't gonna go well from them just dumping money into all the fighters, just giving.
Of course, look, you don't. Before you give a fighter 10 mil, you better have 10 mil put in your damn server.
Facts.
And your equipment. Because honestly, I'm thinking, look, if you giving me 10 mil to be on your platform, then I'm assuming that y'all niggas is on some super boss shit, and I'm about to go. Y'all can televise my fight on damn planet Mars or some shit, and the quality it won't drop. But if it's looking like y'all filming the shit, the server's running off of a potato or some shit, like y'all getting the worst commentary. Like, no one couldn't throw it back at Jim Lampley, Bobby Ches.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, no, not even try to get Antonio Tarver.
I even say what's the name? I even take Kevin Kelly, like Mark Too Sharp.
That's the other issue. They're I mean, in a sea of terrible commentary, I think their commentary is by far some of the worst.
Yes.
I mean, Gresham, Mannix
is terrible. Mannix should have never.
He's not gonna match with anybody.
They should have never put him in front of a TV screen. He was fine on Twitter. The minute they put him. Then I didn't mind him on Twitter when he broke news and wasn't on his.
Yeah, because some of these guys, look, you just only want to hear them for news. I don't give a fuck how you think a jab is supposed to land on an opponent, or if a body shot should be more effective than a left hook to the face. It's like some people I just don't want to hear that shit from. Like, you non-boxing ass niggas, you know who you are. It's some of you talkity talk niggas, y'all is cool for fucking breaking news and shit.
Yeah, like honestly,
when it comes to breaking down fights, nah, I'm good.
Man, honestly, I don't know how Mora stands it, because Mora is the only decent one.
Yeah, no, Mora. I would have lost my crap if I was Mora.
Like, honestly, Mora and Goosen, like I don't know how they could deal with their commentary teams.
Well, I mean, Goosen at least has.
Goosen has his long moments though, but Goosen,
bro, you commentate with Lennox Lewis, you ain't gonna have some bad moments.
Yeah,
you don't think that energy gonna fucking drip on you?
Yeah, I was saying Goosen has his long moments, but he's better than half the commentators on DAZN. So,
right, like,
of course, Goosen has real boxing knowledge, but the thing is, it's like it's not cultivated in a way where it's gonna come out in the presentation. You can't have somebody fucking.
Honestly, I mean, I don't think this is a bad thing, but I kind of just like he gives off too much. Like he seems like a trainer talking. Like he does that trainer talk where I feel like he's actually like sometimes he's talking like he's in the ring right now training a guy. Like,
but sometimes it's cool in spots. Sometimes it works. Like I fucks with it. It's just it's a bad clash with a guy like Lennox Lewis who sounds like he's being trained, but he don't understand that he's being trained. So you have another guy. So that's why it sounds bad. Like when you have Virgil Hunter be that extra guy on there, it kind of helps it, kind of smooths it out type of shit. Right. Just like how you needed Foreman, even though Foreman will sometimes say some weird shit. But no. But sometimes Foreman would at least balance out the over-the-top cynicalness from fucking Larry Merchant. Where
but he would be the complete opposite of Larry Merchant, which is too extreme.
Sometimes, not all the time. Like I don't want to, niggas rewrite history and make it seem like George Foreman was bad every night. Like
no, he wasn't bad every night, but
he's still better than Lennox Lewis. Like if you had George Foreman, I'd take George Foreman and Goosen over Goosen and Lennox Lewis. Shit. I think the worst thing you could do is put Lewis and fucking Mannix.
I mean, the thing is, a lot of people don't like him, but I actually like Brian Kenny as
I do too. I fucks with Brian Kenny.
Like a lot of people, I don't know why a lot of people don't like him, but compared to
because of that fucking Floyd interview, that's why. And honestly, he was saying some real shit in that interview at the time.
Yeah, no, but
why do you think the interview classic? First of all.
Yeah. And that's what. And then
but he's a good play-by-play guy. I'll give his own credit for having Brian Kenny as a good. But it's different when you play-by-play than the play-by-play guys usually on most networks don't really bother me as much as the color commentators.
I mean, niggas hated Lampley, but I would take Lampley over all these dudes right now because he brought that energy and that excitement.
See. Which Lampley are we getting? Are we getting the 1995 Lampley or the 2010 Lampley? There's a different. That's two different.
I take anyone.
That's two different. That 2010 Lampley is pretty bad. Like,
but you gotta understand, all of these guys were already were out the door. Like they were all past their prime then. Like,
yeah, but he just became a shill beyond. He became the shill of all shills. Like at that point, you just don't want to hear him gargle.
I think Lampley stayed true to himself more than a guy like Kellerman.
Yeah,
like Kellerman more shill than Lampley ever got. Like in half the time.
Yeah, especially if it's a fighter that he actually liked.
Yes,
I don't think Kellerman really shielded.
Kellerman like even changed his opinions on shit. Like,
I mean, I haven't seen a lot of him like straying, but he does have a bias. But most of these guys have some inherent bias. It's just a matter of how far they take it.
But you gotta respect that you have a bias. You gotta notice it. Like see, a lot of dudes act like they don't have a bias.
No, but and also I don't get on Kellerman too much for it because he's been honest of he says, okay, I felt like this, but then after watching this again, I saw something different and made me change my mind. I can't knock that. I can't get mad at that. He was honest.
Yeah, because I think Kellerman, he articulates his thoughts better than everyone else.
That's also true. That's facts.
True.
Yeah,
so, but I'd take any version of Lampley over what we have now on DAZN. Like, bruh, y'all couldn't fucking convince me otherwise.
And this is where I know. Like, obviously, if they figure out their financial issues, like they need to take a good hard look at their presentation and their servers and everything, and make
and the programming. They need to be more creative with this too.
Yeah, because I mean, the other big thing is they don't have any shoulder programming. Like, I mean, obviously they just started, so you have to build up some content over some time. But I mean,
but you could be, if you start in a TV show, you don't start making shows once you make the TV show. I'm sorry, start the TV network. You should be having shows already set up that you're gonna launch when you launch the network.
Well, I mean, it's a little different with sports because I mean, obviously, the HBO Max is getting launched tomorrow, and there's a whole bunch of shows that's supposed to be launched at at this. So I mean, it's a little different. I mean, there's only so much you can do within boxing,
Dude, bruh, but no fucking excuses.
Well, no, I'm saying though, because
if that was the case, if that was the case, we wouldn't exist. You wouldn't have no sports shows, nothing on YouTube. No one to be Niggas get creative. They got you. Remember, they're throwing around millions of dollars.
Wait, I mean, they were doing it because they were buying rights. They weren't. This is the thing about original programming first. They just want to at least get the rights to certain things first before they do anything else.
Bro, like you can't, like nigga, you cannot, like you gotta think. If you setting up a network, you gotta think. You gotta have more type of a future planning than that. Of course, in this day and age, it's all about original programming. Even if it's a fucking boxing network.
Let's be honest. These guys didn't really think this thing all the way through.
And that's the problem. You got a bunch of niggas who are like part-time boxing fans on some $1 million shit, and they just throwing it around, seeing what works.
Right, and then so now pretty much as they were trying to develop original, I mean, they had the Ruiz one night stuff, and then they have the Mannix and Moore show, which is interesting to watch. I'll say that.
Yeah, honestly, I don't
no one cares. But look,
I wish we could see more stuff like the old HBO 24/7s. Like I don't think anything these guys make can top that 24/7, that feel. I don't know. I don't think they have the ability to capture that feel.
But you know what? And you know what? They shouldn't. I feel like their best bet is going down that whole legendary Knights path. If y'all getting rights to fights and y'all want to fucking grow the sport or create some content, they could easily do documentaries on certain fights and look back and revisit times and go that route, because they would have to restructure the documentary, because everybody's always chasing the 24/7 model and no one seems to do anything with it. Like they're all boring.
Yeah, like I remember the one they did for Jesse Vargas, Vargas and Mikey Garcia. That shit was, they did the shit, but it was boring as hell. Just Jesse Vargas part. I was just like, yo, this is not exciting. Like this is just it's blah. Like I don't like
like they gotta start taking more chances on the creativity. Like, and I know that Hearn, he looks at the YouTube boxing community and the news outlets, because I see, like, when I really noticed that shit when I was at the fight for the Miami Fight Night down here, and I seen how he does give access to certain channels or news outlets that's more popping, whatever.
Oh yeah, he's very, honestly, he's very accessible. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter.
He's accessible. Like he fucks with shit. So, and he's always progressive with his thinking. He's the only one who seriously, looked at the whole boxing video game shit. So I know he's the individual who could really implement a lot of the shit that we're saying. It's just, maybe he has the people under him not on it like him, or share the same vision, or willing to take the risk, or be creative, because I feel like there's a whole bunch of different personalities they could grab and craft shows and do different shit with these boxers and to promote and really push their their shit, like just how like PBC has Sean Porter and Abner Merez doing their little PBC, so the PBC Fox show, which is dope, and you have different boxers. It's like they made a platform for their platform,
right? Yeah.
Like PBC, like the Zone doesn't have like a show that's like rated like that.
Well, they have Akim Barak.
Yeah, but Akin Barak need to be like more promoted, and the best thing they had is that shit where they pull up with the boxers.
Word.
if they put more direction in that and did that as like a weekly or a monthly thing, that shit will make noise.
Right, and I remember I had a conversation with Barack about that shit because I mean he mentioned to me like I was like, I mean, are you ever restricted by what DAZN does? And he's like, let me tell you something. Like, I am not restricted by anything. Like, I mean, I can't focus strictly on DAZN because it's just like DAZN. We don't have a lot of American fighters, so I have to go outside of DAZN to actually, if I want to make anything work on the show. That's what he said to me. It's like, I mean, he has an idea. It's like, I mean, just you actually want to see it executed more. So
then it's like then that means that there's something in between the top of the zone and Akin Barak that's miscommunicated, that's not set up. It's a structural problem where you're not getting the best out of that man's ability, which is gonna hurt your brand and overall, what y'all doing. So.
Yeah, I mean, basically right now, I mean, DAZN is like an experiment. It's like a hypothesis right now. You're trying to prove something with it. It's and it's just like you're trying everything to either prove it's not working or it's working. And it's building all these results, but they don't know what to do with these results.
Yeah, because it's like mixed results.
Yeah.
You still haven't had a classic Canelo fight on DAZN yet.
Like I said, they really are operating like they don't know what they're doing. They're just kind of throwing shit on the wall and hope it sticks. Sometimes it sticks, but most of the time it doesn't.
Right.
Like, they didn't capitalize on a Taylor Persone rematch.
Right. I mean, between that, they did have their little streak. Like, and they did kill it in the fall, though. I mean, fall, they had that little stretch of Fight of the Years. I mean, that was pretty damn good.
Yeah, but World Boxing Super Series kind of, threw some hefty help toward their way with that. I'm just saying, like, they did some heavy lifting on that.
Word. And then at least the one thing that they should have done too is like when they had the one card where they resurrected the Superfly card, and that was dope. I mean, that was a dope card from top to bottom, and it's like, and then like I said, the Golden Boy cards, where the Golden Boy cards are, for the most part, are entertaining to watch. It's like they have all these pieces. Just now these need focus on what to do and how to air them.
Because some of the pieces get executed better than others, like, and that's the thing. You need to see. There's too many slip ups. Like, there's too many holes. Like they need to do something with the whole middleweight and super middleweight division over there.
Yeah, they
kind of manage the smaller weights better.
Yeah, like they control middleweight and 168, but no marquee matches have been made there yet. Not one.
Yeah. If y'all can't make Jacobs Andre or something, like,
yeah, well, I mean, yeah,
y'all threw the bag at Chavez Jr.
I mean, if it wasn't for Triple G and Derevyanchenko, they would have. I mean, this shit would have been quiet.
Pretty much, and that's the problem. You're talking about a old passive middleweight and a guy who kind of, he shrinks in his biggest moments, or he doesn't win in his biggest moments, and they had the best fight, like, on some real DAZN shit. Not no, well, okay, we got this World Boxing Super Series and we got 2 Fight of the Years here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, having a pizza party and y'all run out of pizza, but some nigga, he thought ahead and he had a whole gang of wings delivered just in time. That's how that shit was.
Yeah.
Like, niggas like, God damn, like, no more pizza? Like, yo, but you still got 2 more fights. And it's like, one nigga's like, yeah, I knew that would happen. Door nice, like, who had the door? Then boom. Like 50 honey mustard wings, motherfucker. Take your pick, Buffalo, all that shit. Like, that's what the World Boxing Series did for damn DAZN.
Right, yeah. So it's just like DAZN
twice.
Yeah, facts. And so it's like the zone. You just need to like. I mean, obviously, yes. I mean, we don't want to see the zone go away, and people who actually want to see the zone go away, simply because they have a vendetta.
And you're not a boxing fan. That's just
I think that vendetta is a little bit overstated. Honestly, I think there are some haters like.
Niggas really hate the zone.
It's really,
no, I'm not saying that they are like, but like to an extent to like I that have the anti-agenda. I think that's a little bit overstated. There are some there, but
no, it's not. It really isn't.
You really don't think like dudes like so you like come on, and you even said it yourself, casuals.
no, but like to
So
but like,
just think about the advanced casuals who are advanced enough to have biases and agendas and platforms. Some of them.
But I think that a lot of the hate from DAZN is the quality and stuff like that. I don't see many people that are really like. I'm not saying that there aren't people that hate DAZN because of an agenda. But I think there's some legitimate issues with DAZN that people don't like. I think the bias there is a little bit overstated.
I mean, people try to ignore that.
Top rank is another story. Top rank is another story, but DAZN, I think the product really doesn't. It warrants a lot of hate.
No.
Niggas give Top Rank a pass because they gotta hype up Crawford somehow.
No. I'm saying that people
and Lomachenko. So they try to fall back a little.
No. But what I'm saying is, I feel like there's more like hate on Top Rank due to biases more than like the product itself. From people that I've spoke to, and even like whether it be
I can see that. Yeah.
Whether casuals, advanced casuals, there's legitimate criticisms to be made for DAZN about just the product before you even
of course, bro. Like that's what we've been doing for like the last.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like to I think Pat overstates the DAZN hate into the biases a little bit.
Yeah, I wish I was, but no.
I don't think he's overstating it, but I feel like on that end, like DAZN still has a lot of legit criticisms. You know, but I feel like you do have a lot of haters out there that their beef isn't really with the legit criticisms.
Like if we actually go to YouTube right now and type in like DAZN sucks or something like that, I bet you there'll be certain channels where, or DAZN is broke. I bet you there'll be certain channels talking about it, and then they'll mention PVC and Al Heyman and all that other shit. I've seen it. I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen it on YouTube. It's not overstated.
When neither one is perfect and both could really learn from each other. Like, I honestly feel like with DAZN's platform, they should have had their own contender type of series.
Yeah, they should. Well, I mean,
even if it started out in the UK and they had their own version of that shit, that'd have been dope. But even if they did it here, I feel like they could have set something like that up.
Bro, the contender should have actually been DAZN instead of on fucking where the fuck was this last contender season on? It was
the Epic or something.
Yeah, it was on Epic or some shit like that, nigga. I remember I ordered Epic just so I could actually watch that shit, and I canceled it. I'm like, this is stupid. Like, put on something other than that.
But that's the thing. It's like DAZN could take the format, make it better, and do their own. Don't have to call it contender. Really have somebody fight for a title, or have them on a real card, matchroom main event or co-main event or some shit. Like they could do some. That's my whole problem. Like the movers and shakers want to be creative and utilizing the finances and resources they have.
Yeah,
it's like what we complain about Tyler Perry. Like he has a big ass crazy studio and he's still pulling out the same bullshit and low budget wigs and people there snoring in the background.
He's catering to his fan base the fan base that eats that shit up. I don't like it either.
Yeah, people we all, no one will disagree with that. But it's different now when you're doing it in the biggest studio in the whole fucking country.
Yeah, that's true. But with DAZN, I feel like what I said in the pregame banter, This is what happens when you have white suits come in that don't understand whatever culture it is, whether it be hip hop or boxing. These guys don't understand boxing culture. So the angle that they're taking is all wrong. So from the beginning, they didn't have the right mindset to attack this the best way possible.
Yeah.
So this is further
Let
proof.
me throw this money here. Throw my money
Yeah.
there. Yeah, let me sign Canelo and Golovkin for a fight that these guys might not even ever happen.
I mean, I didn't even mind them throwing the bag at Canelo at first, because I'm like, okay, maybe they'll get him to fight. Then it just becomes, these guys, they have no direction, even with Canelo. Only Canelo is benefiting from this.
Yeah, honestly, and I don't think his legacy ain't really, benefiting from me like that. Like, the Jacobs fight was cool, but the fight was trash. The Rocky Fielding, trash. Kovalev fight, trash. Like,
this should have been a flop.
Got out of that.
This has been a flop.
Right,
It's a flop.
So basically it's like now with the zone, like once you fix your money issues, you gotta look at what you're putting on your channels. You gotta look how it's presented, and you have to fix it because honestly, because that's the way the zone will actually extend its life and actually become a player. Like it has potential. Like you can't put as many 5 years candidates as it did and not be a player, but you gotta.
And your B team gotta fucking perform. Like guys like Anthony Joshua and Canelo only fighting twice a year, and their opponents might not be that dude each time out. That means the guys like Saunders and Andre and Caleb Smith and all these other dudes, they need to have way bigger fights.
Right. So
all that shit, it's a trickle down effect, man.
Yeah, it is. So I mean, hopefully, but as boxing fans, we hope that the zone does not, end up, being, I mean, obviously they're probably looking for a buyer, but doesn't turn into something else that doesn't really benefit boxing and becomes a little bit watered down. Even
this is kind of a pattern when it comes to new people, whether it be promoters or networks in coming into boxing. The first thing that they just think of is, okay, let's just throw some money around. Look at Rock Nation. Rock Nation came into boxing and they thought, oh, they'll just throw some money around and they'll be all hunky-dory. Nope, doesn't work like that.
Yeah, no. They learned the hard way.
Yeah.
History has taught us that
50 learned the hard way.
Just throw money into boxing and think everything's gonna fall in place and work.
Yeah, basically you have to put brains behind the money. The money is good, but you gotta put brains behind it to maximize return.
You gotta have a game plan, a strategy.
These niggas need to hire Ring Gang Radio as fucking interns. We can fucking turn this shit around.
Something,
Paid
yeah.
interns.
Give me a salary, paid intern. Yeah, we'll turn that shit around.
Exactly. I'll get into Eddie and Oscar's there. I'll tell them what they need to do, and everything will be all right. I'll tell them what fights need to happen, they need to make.
And this is why I know, like,
but I mean,
connect, because if you look at all the shit that we do and what we bring out to people, and we're doing it at like a base level type of shit. I can't imagine what people who have real budgets is doing. So it's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question.
I don't know. I feel like, they might just be really just out of touch and just hard-headed, because some of this stuff is so simple. Like, the way I look at it, if we can think this stuff out, I don't understand why he doesn't have people on his payroll. I'm sure there are people on his payroll that are feeding him this type of information, and you can't tell me otherwise. They're just not listening.
I mean, sometimes some people, they just want to keep their job, so they just do what they do and they don't go above and beyond.
Word.
I mean, it's hard to say. Like, I think there are some people who might be saying some progressive shit to him, but they might not have a stature in the company where it matters.
I mean, I don't know.
It's like a crackhead telling you, like, you need to work harder at your job, and he's on the corner. I mean, maybe you do need to work harder at your job, but is a nigga on the damn glass dick the one to tell you?
Yeah.
The one who's on some rocks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah.
So I mean, maybe that's what it is. Maybe the male guy got all the ideas at the zone.
I mean, at least
or the janitor.
Yeah, I mean, at least with you know, with like Golden Boy, at least you could say, okay, the figurehead is one of the most famous boxers of all time. So okay, but who there's no Oscar at DAZN that like can think that way of, oh, I know what I'm doing. I don't need to listen to you. I know boxing. Like, you really don't. Like, this stuff is so simple. If you really knew boxing like that, you should understand how to put matches together and how to properly promote all these things. Because it really, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's a blueprint, and it's not hard to follow the blueprint. It's there.
It's easier when you have resources. Maybe it's because a lot of people have the resources. They can't be creative because they're just so used to throwing money at shit. But when you don't have it and you gotta I gotta raise money, do this, I gotta save up, do that, I gotta think about this or cut this corner, this, that, just to get something that's just like dope. You look at shit a different way, man. There's levels, and I don't think they're exploring the levels.
They have enough resources to be creative.
That's what makes it goes back to the whole Tyler Perry complex.
It's not like oh well, we only have maybe that is a problem. They just have such a large amount of resources that they think they can just throw a chunk of them and just this is.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Like, when I look at the type of content that it could be out there, and I always bring up Break Media and Jay Chowder, like, cause when I see all the creative shit he be doing, and I'm just like, DAZN. I mean, come on, like, I mean, it's the same network, it's the same niche. Like, we all see the same tweets throughout the day, whatever. Like, y'all see the content that's being out there.
Like the point with DAZN is DAZN doesn't do any commercial anything. Like DAZN's YouTube popped off when Ruiz upset Joshua, and it's still popping. But everything else is kind of like you still don't see them like the commercials at least on regular TV. I mean, they can at least do that.
No,
of course, especially when they do local cards like in America. Like they still have commercials. Like I don't get like, and even on the radio station, like when PBC that first weekend. PBC went live. I think what was the it was Broner and Molina, right? And,
Broner, Molina, and Thurman Guerrero.
Yeah, Thurman Ghost. Yeah,
like I remember that weekend.
There was so many commercials. I remember
so many commercials on the radio, everything. Like it was just
on TV.
TV. Because I was in Miami that weekend, and it's like you seen the posters. It's like it's just a vibe. Like it was on the radio station. Like you felt like you was about to get like two like big ass fights, and you're just getting two. Okay. So there's something they gotta do, man. Like you got the resources. Like y'all literally got the damn cheat code to go to the last level, but y'all went to the last level, but y'all forgot to put the cheat codes for all this shit that you would have got if you would have played through the whole game.
Oh man, yeah, DAZN, and like I said, DAZN has. I mean, obviously, once it fixes financial issues, then hopefully it fixes its internal issues. So I mean, it's the competition in boxing is good, and I'd rather see boxing on more forms of media, both TV and streaming, than just have everything becoming like in one place. And there's no place for other boxers to actually try to fight or to survive and thrive. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think we talked about a lot. I think we talked enough on DAZN.
Yeah, I mean, we got in the zone.
Yeah. Ding ding. Bars. But yeah, our last topic for tonight is